Hey, what's up you guys? ShartimusPrime here, doing another Marvel Legends action figure review on the Marvel Legends first appearance Spider-Man. I gotta give a big thanks to Hasbro for letting me get a first look at this figure. And this is not the figure. We're looking at images of Spider-Man from Amazing Fantasy number 15, which is his first appearance. So I just wanted to show off some of these images over here. I did not receive packaging for the figure. I don't know when it's going to be released. I understand it was just revealed a couple of days ago. At the time of this recording, it hasn't been revealed to the public yet. So I have this thing in hand. I'm about to show it to you guys, but I don't have the packaging, and I do have all the accessories, and just the figure itself is pretty much all the info I have about it. I don't know when it's coming out or anything like that. So without further ado, let's get a closer look at the first appearance Spider-Man figure on the rotating base. And here's the first appearance Spider-Man figure on the rotating base, and it does look pretty awesome. There are things that I really like about it, and there are improvements made compared to the Vintage Collection Spider-Man figure. However, that Retro Card Vintage Collection Spider-Man figure has some things that I wish we saw on this figure over here. So there's likes and dislikes, but anyway, let's get a closer look at the accessories, and then we'll take a closer look at the figure. So here's all the accessories that we get with this Spider-Man figure, and yeah, a lot of us were bummed out about not getting wall crawling hands, and they included them this time. And we not only get that, we also get web grabbing hands, which have a horizontal hinge. Then we have vertical hinges on the thwipping fist and wall crawling hands. You can see we have the webs right over there for the armpits, and then we get two zipline webs right here, which we have seen many times before. They have this slight touch of gray in there, which I think is cool. Adds a little bit of texturing to it, so it doesn't just disappear into my white backdrop. So I appreciate when they add a little bit of gray. And then you can see the hands right here have a very bright red color tone to them. I would prefer the darker tone like we'd seen with the Vintage Collection Spider-Man figure, and I'm going to compare this first appearance Spidey to the Vintage Collection Retro Card Spidey a whole bunch in this video. So yeah, stay tuned for more comparisons. But yeah, these all look pretty good. I'm happy that they included all of these hands right over here. And then we get the armpit webs, which is a very first appearance attribute of that design. And you know, later on they kind of did away with it and they've brought it back, and you can see a bit of gray right over here. These aren't reused from any other figures or anything. It's not like they're the same ones that came with the Spider-Woman figure or anything like that. These are totally different, and they're not the same that come with the movie versions either. Actually, I just wanted to demonstrate from this side where you could see how this ports in. So with that arm up there like that, you can see how the web wing looks right there. As soon as you start putting it down though, it disappears easily, and you can see how it kind of covers the back and stuff. So there's that side right there, and here's the other side right here. You can see how the web wing contours to the shape right here of the arm. So that's pretty neat that you could do that. Then you have the collapsed web wing version right here. These will pop off on you as you're moving them around, so that can be frustrating, but neat that you could put this all the way down like that, and you can see how it kind of just folds in and it kind of just lays across the back right over there. Just to be thorough, here's the other one, so you can see how that looks. It doesn't look too bad. I think I prefer these than these ones right over here. I don't know, but yeah, they do fall off. So here's looking at the brand new head sculpt, and I gotta say it looks really cool. I do like this first appearance look. Very Steve Ditko looking with the squinty eyes right there. Paint applications came out looking very clean. We don't have a cobweb pattern sculpted into the plastic. It's all just decoed on there, and yeah, man, this looks really cool. I do feel like the jaw is just a little wide, so if they could bring the jaw in just a little bit, that would have been a little bit cooler, I think. But yeah, it still looks really good. Here's looking at the back of it, and you can see we do get the neck hinge right over there. No paint on the hinge or anything like that, as you can see. Just to give you some comparisons, here is the Vintage Collection Spider-Man head next to this one with the squinty eyes. This is still very much a John Romita Sr. look, and we have our Steve Ditko look right over there. Then here's a Spider-Man Classics head sculpt right there, so you can see a comparison. And then we have our Marvel Legends Sentinel Build-A-Figure Wave head sculpt with the squinty eyes. I do wish they went with the darker red. Yeah, it's going to be a common complaint for me. Then a big thing that stood out with me with this figure is the huge Spider-Man logo on the chest. That just looked way too big to me as soon as I got it, and then I looked up some images and it's all very accurate. So if you're not a fan of that either, it is accurately huge. However, on the back right over here, this symbol is supposed to be a light blue color. Now, it was only like that in Amazing Fantasy number 15, but this is a first appearance Spider-Man look, so technically it's an Amazing Spider-Man number 1 look as opposed to Amazing Fantasy number 15. But anyway, deco looks really good on the figure right over here, and it does have pinless joints right there on the elbows and the knees. That looks very clean. Very pleased with that. Like how they got the paint right there in that joint and everything. No pins sticking out, looking all weird on the inside. And I love this midnight blue color that they chose. That looks really good. It's just perfect. So really like that a lot. As you bend back, you can see the cobweb pattern in there. I do feel like the cobweb pattern is a little bit more horizontal than I'd like to see. On the Vintage Collection one, you get this angle with the cobweb pattern going outward on the edges. This one kind of has a little bit more of a gridded look to it, which I don't prefer. Now, I don't know if any of these parts have been used from the Vulcan figure or not. So that's one thing that really confuses me is like, are these all totally different legs? Because I don't have that Vulcan figure in hand yet. It just hasn't been out. So I'll look up Vulcan pics and come to my own conclusion with a little title thing at the bottom. There's looking at the calves of the figure right there. You do get fairly big sized feet right over there. And comparing to Pizza Spidey feet, they are different, but both kind of big, you know what I mean? So similar shape. Are these the same feet? No. I thought they were reusing the patas, but they're not reusing the patas. They're a different shape, but you still get peg holes right there at the bottom of the feet. So to go over the articulation on this figure, again, we have the disc hinge right here, and he can look all the way up, which makes me very happy. Again, comparing it to the Vintage Collection Retro Card Spider-Man, this figure doesn't look up as well as this one does, right? You can see a difference right over there, and you don't get that weird gap. So I'm very happy that they went back with the neck hinge. I know not everybody wanted it, but I did. Can't move the head downward very far. You can turn side to side. A little bit of head wobbling still, so that's good. And it shifts forward and back like a pile driver. You do have butterfly joints right here that do move forward and back, and that's not too bad, even though I wish we could move them a little bit more so, but still really good. You can get the shoulders moving outward just a bit above the 90-degree mark, which is pretty sweet, and you can move them all the way in, rotate a full 360, of course. Did get a little bit of chewing right over here on the shoulder, though. Bicep swivel, and then you have the pinless double-jointed elbows, and then all the hands turn side to side. I went over the articulation with those already. We have a diaphragm joint that turns side to side very well. You get some good diaphragm pivot, but it does not crunch forward that well. And just comparing it to the Vintage Collection version again, at the diaphragm joint, you do get more range of movement moving forward right there at the diaphragm and back at the diaphragm. Same thing with this one. It will move back, but just not as much as with this guy right here. They both have that same articulation at the waist, so you do get that crunch forward. So with both joints, wow, you can really move this guy forward that much. And then with the Vintage Collection version, he'll move forward that much. I mean, I could say that for sure with the diaphragm joint, but I don't know. They look like they're both kind of, nah, I feel like we're getting more movement over here on this one, no? They're very similar, but yeah, this one is crouching forward more so than that one. I could see it in the angles right there. So yeah, wish it could move forward and back a little bit more, so it's just that diaphragm joint right there. We also do not get the drop down hips. No drop down hips over here on this guy. I was kind of expecting and hoping for that. And the legs can move outward actually pretty far, so I do like that. I wonder how you could turn this in like that. I just want to twist this around. I always like doing this kind of test. It's kind of neat to be able to do that, so you can get a really high kick out of this guy if you want to. That's pretty awesome. Oh crap, and they made it with enough clearance so that it's not rubbing against anything while I have this twisted all the way around. You can see if you leave it posed around like that for a while, though, it will cause some chewing. Just a little bit, though. But nope, no drop down hips. You still can get the legs to move forward very far, though, so they do move up that much. You know, you can see right there. And they will move back a little, this is the slightest bit, not back much at all, really. And then you get the upper thigh cut, pinless double-jointed knees, and then the ankle rotation, ankles move down, up, and beautiful ankle pivot. Now to measure out this first appearance Spider-Man figure, you can see that he is standing just a little over 6 inches tall. And then for a size comparison, you can see our new first appearance Spider-Man figure next to the Toy Biz Spider-Man Classics Series 2 first appearance Spider-Man, and then we have the Toy Biz Marvel Legends Sentinel Build-A-Figure Waves first appearance Spider-Man right over there, and I have them all with with the wide leg stance because this figure doesn't let you move the legs in closer than that because you got that big old weird crotch piece right over there. This also came with like a little fishnet accessory that went around the neck and wrists, and I'd taken it off the figure almost immediately and put it somewhere and didn't put it back. But yeah, that's gone right now. The reds on these two figures I like, especially this one right over here. I feel like maybe a little too dark with the red on that one, but this red tone I prefer over this one for sure. The Spider logo is a little bit smaller on these figures too. This one's inaccurate, so this one has a more accurate logo, but they did scale it down some, and then all three of them do have the red Spider logo on the back right there. And then this one has a port on the back, so you could put it with the stand that the Toy Biz figures used to come with. And then here's the first appearance Spider-Man figure next to the Pizza Spider-Man figure, and we have our Vintage Collection Retro Card Spider-Man. And yeah, I gotta say, I like that it's a smaller Spider-Man figure. It's a younger Spider-Man. He's about 15 years old right over here. So yeah, he should be a smaller figure. And then here's the new Spider-Man figure next to the Marvel Legends Peter Parker figure. And instead of doing a Peter Parker party, let's do a head swap party, because that's one thing I wanted to really see over here. So let's get this off. Oh man, that is so satisfying to see. I really like that a lot, because this is very much a Steve Ditko design head sculpt right here, I think. And seeing it on this, yeah, I think it fits pretty well. I do like that. That one of the armpit pieces fell off right over there. They do fall off fairly easy. But anyway, putting on this half Peter, half Spider-Man head, this works out perfectly on this figure. Even the plastic color matches very well. Wow, and the eye looks very Steve Ditko-like, so that's really cool to see. Really happy with that. Damn, that looks great. It almost looks like this head sculpt came with the figure, right? I don't know, that's just hella perfect. And then here's the Pizza Spider-Man head on here, and you could put that on, and that looks pretty good too. You can make that work. And then here is the Vintage Collection Spider-Man head on here. I just had to see how that would look with this, and yeah, I mean, yeah, and then there's another Peter Parker head sculpt on here. This is the one that came with the MJ 2-pack, so that looks pretty cool. You could do that as well. And I think that's the last of the head swaps I really wanted to show off over here. But yeah, gotta say, yeah, it's pretty cool that you could fit the other heads on there. I think this one actually worked out best for this particular figure, though. This was really neat. Then here's our first appearance Spider-Man figure. Next to another first appearance figure, you can see the first appearance Daredevil, which is utilizing the Bucky Cap body mold. And then here's a first appearance Spider-Man next to the Ultimate Spider-Man figure. I think this is the one that came with the Vulture. I'm not 100%, but yeah, this is way smaller than this one right over here. Then here's a first appearance Spider-Man figure next to the Spider-Man Far From Home movie figure. And yeah, I do like this design because it very much looks like a first appearance Spider-Man, right? But yeah, I like the height for a teenage body for this. That would be kind of cool. But, you know, this one's still cool. I guess that's the optimal size right over there, right? I don't know. Then here's the first appearance Spider-Man figure. Next to the first Spider-Man villain, we have the Chameleon. I guess you could argue that Uncle Ben's Killer is technically the first Spider-Man villain, but, you know, hey, your first Rogues Gallery Spider-Man villain character, there you go, the Chameleon. And they stand at around the same height. Then here's the first appearance Spider-Man figure. Next to some of my favorite old school Spider-Man villains, we have Mysterio, Doc Ock, Green Goblin, and Shocker. Here's our first appearance Spider-Man figure next to the Marvel Legends Stan Lee. And yeah, you can see they stand at around the same height. I wish I could compare this figure to every freaking figure in my collection, but I have to cut it off at some point, right? Okay, one more comparison. Here's the first appearance Spider-Man figure next to your average 6-inch scale figure. We have the Marvel Legends Big Time Letdown Spider-Man. Hey, brother. Hey, brother. Whoa, you have some crazy years ahead of you, brother. Can I give you one piece of advice? When Gwen Stacy falls off the Brooklyn Bridge, don't thwip, dive. Ah! No, he's right, brother. Don't thwip, dive. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you don't miss out on my future videos. And a big thanks to all these people that support this content via Patreon and membership. If you're interested in exclusive content and you want to help support this channel, check it out. Link in the description below. And a big thanks again to Hasbro for making this opportunity possible. And I just really appreciate being able to review this figure. Hopefully you guys saw it as a truly objectional view of this piece. You know, I had my gripes about it, and there's things that I absolutely love about it. I think this is a very, very cool first appearance Spider-Man figure. I like it for this particular version of Spider-Man. I don't wish that the symbol on the back was blue instead of red. You know, I pointed out that little discrepancy with the first appearance of Spider-Man, but, you know, I think the red is a better choice. I do wish the symbol on the chest was just a little bit smaller. I wish we had the drop-down hips. Wish you can get the legs a little bit closer together. There's some things that are finicky with the webs in the armpits, and the color red is a little bit lighter than I'd like to see. But getting all that out of the way, I still think this is a very cool Spider-Man figure. I really do like it a lot. I just don't like it as much as the Retro Card Vintage Collection version. That one's still my favorite Marvel Legends Spider-Man figure at this point in time, or from Hasbro anyway. But I really like this a lot. The pinless joints and the more slender, smaller look is perfect for a first appearance Spider-Man figure. And I do like that I'm able to get the head to look all the way up, and there's a lot of cool, and the accessories. I think we get a great number of accessories with this piece. So there's a lot of great stuff going on here. I don't know how much it's going to retail for, but I'm assuming it's going to retail for somewhere between 25 to 30 bucks. That's where we're at now. And at that price point, I'm going to give this first appearance Spider-Man figure a Sud rating of...
I love it! It's so awesome!
And I'd like to know what you guys think, so please let me know in the comments section below. I'm curious to know what you guys got to say about this piece. If you want to stay in touch with me over on social media, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and TikTok, and I will catch you guys later. Peace!
That's crispy.
Hey, new ShartimusPrime videos. Hey, you should click one. Yeah, click on one of them. Or subscribe if you haven't.
Your face,